Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I'm just gonna say hey to everybody here. Hey, SP95. Hey, James Boone. And Guillerme Soda. That's my best guess. Thank you for coming. You also have a Sony Flat. Yeah, today we've got a Sony Flat. This is the Vega. And it gets flashy a little bit at times, but it's pretty good TV. What's up, Overclockwise? What's up, Napalm Guy 64? So, yeah, a lot of love for arcade stuff too. SP95. Arcade monitors are fun, especially when they're actually CRTs still. Gotta love seeing that. So just getting things ready, letting the chat get a little warmed up. Hey, Arcazal. Good. So yeah, today I have a brand new game to show off to you. So I wanted to come in for a minute, chill for a second, let things get going. I do have about a half a cup of coffee I'd like to finish. And as I'm doing that, I'll hang out in the chat, and we're going to take a look at this. Came in the mail over the weekend. This lovely, amazing copy of a Dreamcast game. The 240p test suite. It's one I've been waiting for a long time. So, yeah, just to give you guys a heads up on what's playing on there now, this is Gunlord, NG Dev Team. Sometimes they have copies of this available on their website, and I don't know, I bought it years and years and years ago, and so this is just one of those copies, not like an original copy. It's one of the reprints or something, but make cool stuff for the Dreamcast. So that's what's on there right now. And as you watch the trial of the Gunlord, and so this setup here, it's actually on composite video. So yeah, it's going to be running in 240p for this game, because that's the way the software's made. But it is through composite. So that's another thing we'll get to see. The 240p test suite should be in what it says, 240p. And but we're going to take a close look at it. Thank you, Cody Dragon Rude, for coming in. And like I said, I'm just going to finish up a little bit more sips on the coffee. If you guys have any questions about anything related to what we've been working on the last few weeks, or if this is a new stream you're attending, I really appreciate you coming in. I'm hopeful to have some kind of eventual regularity to a show. So what you guys are kind of in is in like the early development phases of what this live show really is, which is mostly looking at the things, but I would love to have a better almost structure to it, where it's, if I can get on a regular schedule, that'd be great. Hey, Amos, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for coming in today. It's good to see you. Hope things are doing well for you and your family. It's awesome. Thank you for coming. All right. So yeah, just hanging out and things get warmed up. And what you're looking at is a Sony, and it is the 20-inch. Let me get the model number. Let me see here. Dario Novello. You may have the exact model number. Congratulations, yes. Everybody, give Dario a round of applause. He picked it just from the front picture. It was the KV20 FS120. Sony Vega. Let me see what year it's from. This one's from November of 2004. All right, Mr. Cod Ponds, thank you for coming. Yeah, so that's what we have here on display. And this is a set that has just composite video input. It does have a component video input. And it has RF, so it can accept, you know, analog video that way. Hey, Waldron. Hey, Napalm Guy, 64. Yeah. So, it does have the ability to do 240p through, like, component video also. But there is no S video on this set. And there is a flap. And under there is an additional composite video input. So you end up with like 3 different lines. Can get to the menu without the remote in this, but not probably the service menu. I've really not looked at this TV much. This was a donation from a client, Patreon member, longtime supporter of the show. He gave me this set, as well as a 20-inch JVC-D series, which I've featured in other posts and videos and things. And they're really going to become part of things that I have planned that I have been working on. And, you know, it's looking at these more in depth. I have not tried the component cable for the Dreamcast. Is there one even out right now that's from a good one? Is the good one out from HD Retrovision finally? I have a bag of cables for this. I have an S-video cable and also an HD cable through VGA. And that's somewhere behind up on the table back there. But what we could do is we'll breeze through this and then we'll use it on composite. And because that's going to be pretty standard for most people, right? If you have a composite TV, then hopefully you can do what we're going to do with this copy that's available of the 240p test suite. So let's, I'm going to leave that running. I don't care about that right now. We're going to go ahead now and get things ready. And we will just adjust our audio just a little bit. The 27-inch D series, and love it. That's good. It's a very good one. The D series are great TVs. And let's go ahead. And why don't we just come on in here and take a look at this beautiful. Here's some other game I have here, which I was showing off. This will show in 480i. Sega Bass Fishing 2. Love that. Anyway, here's our 240p jewel case. This is from Video Games New York. Right? Yes. The legend Artemio, VGNY Soft. There's a look at the back label if anybody wants to go check out the website. And just look at all this information on the back. How awesome is this? Look at all this stuff. It says NTSC all / all for formats, I guess. And test suite, region free. Oh, VGA HDMI compatible. VMU compatible, microphone compatible. I guess you could test your microphone if you have one. Keyboard support, light gun support. Maraca support, arcade stick support. My goodness, Dreamcast compatible. This is a region-free game. Works with any CD compatible Dreamcast system. And this is definitely something we're gonna do. How cool is this? Let's get a little closer. We're going to read the instruction manual before use. That's awesome, right? Store it in a safe place for future reference. Okay? Yeah, the artwork is beautiful. We'll look at the front here in a second because that's beautiful artwork right there. Let's take a look here at some of the main test screen. We have our color screen here where we can see the different colors and our intensity of each color, and then our color bars. So a modern-day test suite for retro enthusiasts. The 240p test suite provides you with a wide array of tests and tools to maintain, calibrate, and repair your TV, monitor, audio, and other devices. Test multiple display resolutions, including 240p, 288p, 480p, 480i, and 576i, which is PAL. You can also test your controllers, memory cards, VMUs, and almost every other Dreamcast peripheral, including fishing rods, light guns, maracas, arcade sticks, the Dream Eye, and more. The Dreamcast release features exclusive tests to maximize the unique, amazing capabilities of the legendary console. Features tools to help align, adjust your configure your RGB colors, sharpness, brightness, test your controller, memory card, and almost every other Dreamcast accessory. Couch co-op mode with up to 4 players. I guess you could test that too. Use the official Dreamcast microphone to automatically test video and audio lag. Wow. Support composite S-Video, RGB SCART, VGA, and HDMI cables. I don't have any HDMI cables, but I didn't know there was one. Full support for consoles and devices from both NTSC and PAL regions. Not licensed or sponsored by Sega. Okay. Here's the front. Amazing art from Pepe Salat. Seen this image in my workspace. I have it on the wall. Bought it a year ago. This is my perfect geometry. So let's open this up. Let's open this up, everybody. How we doing out there today? Is this what you saw yourself doing on a Monday morning? Let's see what secrets are inside of this jewel case. Here's a look at the side, actually, if you want to see that. Nice little slice there. So this TV will be used in Cody in upcoming stuff. I've got some stuff in the works about RF converter, so I need to use that. All right, let's open this up and see what our disc looks like. Ooh, ooh, look at this. Oh, I love it. Look at that. Amazing. What do you guys think of this? Huh? How cool is this? Check that out. More details and support. Look at this cool background. I love this. Support this in future projects. There's Artemio's Patreon link. So if you're not already supporting that, I recommend getting on there and, supporting it. I've been a long time supporter of his. I always promote because his is the best tools. These are the best tools and they're available really free. Here's the 240p test suite wiki page. Barcode right there. Just amazing. And look at this disc. Beautiful work. All right. Let's pop it out of the jewel. First time jewel pop. Oh, yeah. Oh, I knew she'd be back there. Donna. Look at that. Ones and zeros behind her. I wish I'd have ordered like 100 of these now. Look at this. I just love this. Wow. Let's see. High quality disc looks like here. Little strobe light for you. Just look at that disc again. Just amazing. That's right. And we're gonna, of course, do what we were told, right? Remember? I told you. Ooh, do what you're told. You gotta read these instructions first, everybody. Because guess what? You open that new Switch game, you didn't get any instructions at that. Man, this is reminiscent of jewel cases. Being able to, like, get the manual out of the jewel case. Get the manual out of the jewel case like that. Baby. Look at that. Yes. And this is the TV. Goodness, right down here. You see that? You guys have seen that TV on this channel a lot. That's that KV13 TR28 or M10. Both of which I've featured here on the channel. Pretty in-depth. RGB modded both of them, actually. Right here. Live, one of them. All right. Oh. Details. Wonderful. Slow it down. Let's take a look at what it says here. Lovely. Just lovely stuff here. Lots of information. Probably shouldn't sit here and read through all of it. I'll try to read through some of it. So, test patterns, right? These are just test patterns. We have color and black level patterns. Plugge, which is a pattern on there. The picture lineup generation equipment, Plugge, is a test pattern used to adjust the black level and contrast of a video signal. Color bars display all the pure colors possible on each system. Okay? We've also got EBU color bars. Pattern used to calibrate your video signal to proper PAL levels of contrast, brightness, and appropriate colors. So that's not going to be used today because we're on an STMP color bars are what we will use. That's NTSC colors that we can use to adjust things. If we had the proper set, maybe we'll switch over to a PVM where it's easy to adjust these things soon. STMP color bars with grayscale, color bleed check, used to diagnose unneeded color up sampling or bleeding, basically where your colors bleed through on a screen. There's a white screen test. This is useful to check for audio interference in the RGB cables. A gray ramp test. 100 IRE pattern, sharpness, and convergence patterns. And then you have geometry patterns, monoscope, and a grid pattern, which we've talked about using those many times in this channel. So we've got video tests available, drop shadow test, and we'll look at these tests on this screen and just see what it looks like. And some of these things may not even show up on the camera, depending on how it actually captures what it sees on the CRT screen, because sometimes it's not really picking up everything. So we also have like a lag test for used to two displays connected at the same time to test for display lag. And there is more details on each of these and we'll look at those too. But these are all, we can alternate between 240p and 480i. Diagonal test for scalars. Some of these are scalar tests that we won't be using. Grid scroll test, timing reflex tests for lag. Backlit zone test. Sound tests. So we have a sound test. Audio sync test. MD4A generates the signal used in MD4A for audio testing. Microphone lag test. So this is a test for audio lag by sending a tone to your display speakers and registering the tone via the Dreamcast microphone. I don't have that microphone, but hardware tests says you could test some things we will test here, right? I don't have a Maple device. I have a controller. I have a VMU. I have not got the light gun or microphone. I do have a fishing rod, but I don't know if there's anything special about that. Here's some more about Artemio. Artemio is the architect behind the 240p Test Suite MD48 project. His mission throughout his various endeavors has been to preserve the integrity of video games and their component parts, such as audio and video, with all the excruciating precision that an antiquarian would apply to a Renaissance painting. Video games are an important piece of our shared culture and history, and preserving all the details of the history is crucial to future generations being able to fully understand and interpret the legacy they inherited. The technology that Artemio has created is born from his background in software engineering and TV broadcasting, coupled with his love of retro video games. What began with him getting under the hood of the consoles to see how they really work, and how they interact with modern devices like HDMI, blossomed into what you now hold. He has been cited as the godfather of retro gaming AV, and his various projects have revolutionized our understanding of the subject. And here is a link to the website you could check out for more information, and for links to all these 240p Test Suite downloads for many different consoles and devices, not just the Dreamcast. This is just the newest release here. So anyway, thank you everybody for joining me on this, Monday morning. I've got to make sure that I don't get any more spam calls when you have a business and it's a Monday morning. You get spammed a lot. So here is the other page, the very last page about Video Games New York. VGNY Soft is a video game publishing label dedicated to bringing indie games to the mass market through physical releases. We are committed to elevating the culture of gaming, or of the games industry, through the voice and stories of independent developers. VGNY Soft is publishing division of 6M Group, while Video Games New York is the retail division. After 20 years of elevating the image and culture of retail experience, VGNY Soft is committed to bringing the same level of dedication and passion to the field of physical game publishing. Our goal is to booster the culture of the games industry by focusing on high-quality releases, community involvement, and careful, considered marketing and distribution. We believe indie developers are the heart and soul of gaming, and deserve a primary spot in our industry. Okay. One last look at that. And since we've done our homework, let's go ahead now and pop over here, and we'll turn off Gunlord. And open up our Dreamcast. Then we can switch on over. Do. And we'll put it in. Actually, I'm going to leave it open. We'll turn it on. That's okay, right, with the Dreamcast? Wags Mike asked how much this costs. Well, I don't remember. It's been so long since I bought it. I bought it on pre-release a long time ago. So let me take a look here, see if we can find that answer. Just go right to VGNY Soft's page and see if it's still listed there, right? Sega Dreamcast. It is $24.99. $24.99. It's in stock. So, yes. Go to VGNYsoft.com if you are interested in this. and you can buy it there. It's in stock. It's just gotten in stock. $24.99. Hey, Keith. How you doing? I actually just got it, man. Just got it in. So, let's close the lid on it. Let's see. I'll have to have you on when I actually do something with it instead of just showing it off, because I have something else coming that I might unbox in a second that I also got this weekend in the mail, and that's a 5-inch PVM. I don't even know if it works. It's literally this box right behind my shoulder. All right, there you go. Not licensed or endorsed by Sega. All right. Here's your first look at it. Any blinks? Yes, he blinks. He blinks. It says right there we're in 240p. Yeah, I don't know, Ravio, where it might be sent to. If they ship out of country or just the United States. I'm here in the US. USA, NTSC, CVBS. I guess that's composite video, right? Composite video test pattern. So we can click on that, right? And look at color and black levels. This is set up. Well, I like it. It's set up just like it was in the menu. Plugge tests right there. Now we could switch. Oh, look at that. We got red and green here. Wait. This should be. Well, the fun thing is, if you look here on my memory card unit, it actually is showing me what I'm on. Like Plugge range or Plugge full 800 millivolts, 240p. Hey, Matt D. Yeah, Keith, that's what I'm saying. I didn't realize that. That is awesome. I don't know if you can really see it on my screen. Maybe here. Oh my gosh. Wait a second. Look at this. I didn't even do anything. It just went to sleep. Oh my goodness. How fun is that? What if I show you that? But I don't know. All right, I'm trying to see. Oh my gosh. Why did I do that? I just woke the cat up, but I didn't show it to you. So this is what I was telling you about, right? If I show you that, I don't know if I have that. I took that other camera off. Maybe I could pull that up. I don't know if it'll show it. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, if you look below me, this is the actual. Whoops. Let me see if I could get that shrunk a little bit. Let's shrink it down now, everybody. Don't you want to check out the 240p test suite on the Dreamcast? All right. We got the kitty cat sleeping. Got the kitty cat sleeping down here on the corner. And if I press something, watch him closely. You ready? Watch the kitty. Watch the kitty. Oh, bam. Woke him up. How about that? And I don't even know if you can hear that music. I'm going to turn it up just a smidge. Yeah, that's a 20-inch. That's a 20 FS120. Matt D. Keith's giving us some vital information. I should have had you on. If you could have come on here, Keith, with me, if you had, I bet you're working though. You could come on with me later this week or something, or in a couple of weeks. I've got some time for sure. So yeah, let's just see what happens here if I press some buttons. I'm trying to. No, let's press something here. Okay, like there's the other mode Keith's talking about that you can use to set the proper contrast and brightness. Basically, just go in brightness, contrast, and use that to set it up with this scale. And 714 millivolts. 0.3 is good for plugge. Let's see what else we can do. So that's it switches between the two modes. You can see the reaction on the screen, how it brightens up when you come in hot, like he said with that 8 right there, 800. Hey, Basil. All right. Whoops. We still want to stay there for a minute and see what else happens. So we're bringing on board red. Whoops. It doesn't. Does it stay there? It doesn't seem to stay there. Maybe it's my controller, but if I tap that, I get red and green on the sides with the 740 and the 40 or 047. I don't know. Maybe it's my controller. It's pretty rough condition. This is was set I picked a Dreamcast set I picked up in Florida. It does have a QC label on it, so somebody said it was good. It's probably like one of those DK Oldies QCs. So it's pretty dirty. Anyway, it very well could be the controller because it's not wanting to stay up there. Okay. 145 nits. Yeah, we've got to get you on here to talk more about this in detail, Keith. Okay. Produce correct peak white based on the proper signals. Right. Let's see this one. You can see this are color bars mixed. We can see each individual color lined up there with the white at the bottom. And this is just how this TV is set standard. So now I've never adjusted it. Doesn't actually look too bad. You can see where it does have a little bit less blue, a little bit more red, a little bit more of that warm considered look. Green right in the middle. Now we can add bars to the behind that. I can kind of see that a little bit better like that. All right. Cool. Thanks for dropping it, Keith. But that way you can see some geometry patterns behind that. How sweet is that now? Is there anything else? If I press start. What if I press start? Look at this. Oh my. Look at all this information. Thank you, HS Sitco, for the like. Yeah, definitely. If you guys want to help out, you could drop a like. So there's just a lot of great information about how to use the color bars. It says it allows you to calibrate each color, red, green, and blue, as well as the white levels. This is adjusted in the same way black levels are set with the plugge. If you adjusted the black levels correctly with plugge, the rectangles under the one column should barely be visible. Adjust the white level first. This is done using the contrast control of your TV set, raising it until you cannot distinguish between the two blocks under F, and lower it slowly until you can clearly tell them apart. Wow. So that's given you not just what this is used for, but how to do this set through instructions right here. So let's see. The second page, you can highlight the blocks for 2 seconds with X. So when you press X, it's a 2-second highlight. It says the same procedure should be used with each color. Raise the control until you adjust the individual color level until you can't tell the right box under F from the one to its left. Then lower it until you can distinguish them clearly. The same bars with a grid pattern are available with the A button. Use zoomed in lower and higher contrast levels with L and R. Let's see here. Unreal. Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So you're zooming in all the way on F by doing that, all the way, and then all the way on, all the way down at 0. So that's like the zeros zoomed in all the way up to 1F, just like here. And then if I do R, it's like here to here. So it's way on the high end. Oh, this is hot, man. This is a hot thing. Okay, let's see this here. Okay, let's try to do some things here, right? Maybe we get our hands dirty a little bit here. He said we got to use 800. We need to use 800 to adjust the colors on a white balance. Man, it might be a little hot, so we might come in a little lower than what it says. So what it said to do, go back to help. It says adjust the white level first. This is done using contrast. Raise it until you cannot distinguish between the two blocks under F. Under F. Okay. So that's going to be hard for you to see. But I'm looking down here at F. Right here. 2 blocks. If I press menu, let's go down. If let's enter. There we go. What do you think we're going to go? Picture for contrast? Probably it. Let's see. All right, now they're pretty indistinguishable. I got it way cranked up. Cranked up. Look at that. Then it says, what did it say to do after that? Let's go back to the help. Raise it and lower it until you can clearly tell them apart. Okay. And we can even zoom in over here. And I can distinguish them. It's hard for you to probably see it on that screen because it's so bright. But I can actually distinguish those lines the way it tells me to. So that's really all there is to that little adjustment on page 1. So let's see now. Can highlight the blocks with X. Let's see how that looks. Right there. Okay. See, that's cool. Look, it gives you a parameter to look for. I mean, I can easily see that. And you should be able to see that too. Say pink. That's so cool. Look at these little features. I love it. All right. It says you could use it with each color. Now, see, we would have to get in there and use our actual color adjustments, which is not going to be just like that. So we're probably not going to do the rest of this adjustment. But basically, we would do the same thing for red, green, and blue individually, and we'd look at how to get that color lined up to proper levels. But if I go out of here with that white lined up, I can actually distinguish each of these blocks easily on the F side. So we've got that F side set. Okay. And maybe I should have done a different view. There we go. So you can see a little bit clearer. And then again, you could pull up. Oh, that's so awesome. I just love how there's this little features. Let's see what happens when you do that. There it is. So then, whoop, it'll go in there. Okay. Zoom into the F. And yeah, we can even get the little bars to come in there. Because you could even get it down to, if your TV's display is good and sharp enough, looking at that. So this is the EBU color bars. Again, This is like a PAL set of color bars, so you could see it, but it's not one in the United States that was normally used. You go between 75 and 100%. I'm not going to really work on that one. We'll look at the STMP color bars, and I've seen it does 75 and 100. We'll put it at 75 because it's going to flash. Let's see what the help says on this one. There's a lot on this one, so I don't. Let me turn this down. Let me turn my mic up so I can talk to you kind of from the TV set. Read this to you. It says, this pattern can be used to calibrate for NTSC levels regarding contrast and brightness and appropriate colors as well. You can toggle between 100% and 75% SMPTE color with A. Last screen has a vector scope image. So I don't have the vector scope hooked up, but it says there's a vector scope image. Wow. Okay. Remember what the black level in the STMP pattern refers to 75 or 7.5 IRE for video. Console games usually start at 0 IRE. This pattern can be used to calibrate colors, and then black levels can be adjusted with the plunge pattern using the full RGB mode. So that's full RGB mode. Again, we're not in full RGB mode. We're in composite video mode. In an SMPTE color bar image, the top 2/3 of the television picture contains 7 vertical bars of 75% intensity in order from left to right. The colors are gray, yellow, cyan, green, magenta, red, and blue, which you see behind there. Those are the colors it's talking about. Okay? 7 different vertical bars. The sequence runs through all 7 possible combinations that use at least one of the 3 basic color components of green, red, and blue, with blue cycling on and off between every bar, red cycling on and off every 2 bars, and green on the far left, the leftmost 4 bars, and off the the rightmost 3 bars. Lots of information here, guys. Below the main set of 7 bars is a strip of blue, magenta, cyan, and white castellations. When a television receiver is set to filter out all colors except for the blue, these castellations combined with the main set of colors of the color bars are used to properly adjust the color controls. They appear as 4 solid blue bars with no visible distinction between the bars and the castellations. If the color controls are properly adjusted, your vector scope should look something like that, which we've seen before, that image. Component can kind of be considered, I mean, it's not full RGB because it's still being component converted, but it's closer than this. But you cannot get this vector scope image from composite or, a component. It's a composite video image. So, wow. Okay, lots of stuff there. And if we get Keith to come on a stream, we'll have him work through this pattern with us so that I can have more of an expert talk us through how to kind of do that. It just depends on what it's close, right? But sometimes it just depends on what image processing might be done in a television. I don't know if there is any on your, there still is some of that done on component as opposed to just raw RGB where you're not really, you could still do, sharpness and things where almost like comb filters over the signals for component video. I do know that when you increase the brightness, it sometimes make out 3 little bars down here But that's kind of a detail on that. And let's take a second here. Let's chat catch up. Let me get a drink of water. So I'm talking a lot more than I thought I would be, instead of just showing. But that's okay. So again, like Keith said, we do have the two ways to look at this with the 800 millivolt IRE, which is a bit brighter. You know, it's like maxed out brightness, and then you can do the 714 IRE. And I just still love the VMU controls. It's still cycling through a lot of that here. And this is a pattern with gray. Let's see what we can talk about. This should have a pretty detailed or brief description. This pattern idea and layout borrows from the Digital Video Essentials Color Adjust pattern. It has a gray background as reference and can be used with color filters in order to adjust color accuracy. If your TV set has a blue only mode, you can also use it to correct color balance. Okay. This TV, I don't know if it has a blue only mode, but that would be something on professional video monitors you always find. And I don't actually have any color filters. So if anybody knows of any good color filters that they want to recommend to me, tell me. Send me a DM sometime or something, or tag me on Twitter. Drop a comment on what to look for, because I've been looking for a good set, but the ones I keep running into are too expensive or just like totally dodgy, and I don't know if they're any good at all. So that would be like a filter that you could use with your eyeball, and you put it up to the screen and it actually blocks out individual colors, so you only see one color, like blue only, through your eye, and you can adjust things. So what's options? Goodness gracious, you have so many options to do all this stuff. Texture dithering, filtering. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I didn't even know there was all that stuff in there. Options menu, video. So you can actually change. You could change it over to a 240 and a 480i scaled. And what about this one? Oh. Wow, that's odd. Alright, so there we're in like a 480i mode. What if I get out of that? Now I'm back, like, yeah. See that? It's in 480i mode now. So if I want to change that and go back to 240p mode, which looks better, of course. But that's cool. You can toggle between 240p and 480i mode, and you can use that to test if your display can even handle like 240p. All right. So this is that color bleed check. And this is when you really kind of get in close to see if your colors are bleeding together. There's a dot matrix pattern there, almost like it's little dots. And maybe some of you could see it on there. Let's see if I switch it over just this camera. See how it looks a little bit dots, like dots on there. That's the dots that you're looking for. If that color like bleeds together out of those dots, it means that you have a color bleed problem. Let's see what it says actually on the help. Color bleed. This pattern helps diagnose unneeded color up sampling, which that is very, very much the doctor's term. I'm just kidding. For color bleed. It consists of 1 pixel width color bars alternating with 1 pixel width black bars. You could change the vertical bars to a checkerboard with the A button. There are also higher resolution versions when using 480i and 480p. So let's just test that out. It says we're in, that's cool. If I go to the menu, it tells me where I'm at on the VMU. Like right now, it says you're in the help page 1 of 1 in 240p. So it tells me what my mode is. So this is 240p mode. Let's see what happens when I press that Oh, there it is where it's like alternating, and it gives you a crazy looking strobe pattern on there on your screen. Look at that pattern. Jeweler's hoop. Yeah, okay, Wags Mike. Oh, someone else said cheap colorimeter. Yeah, that's a good idea. I've got something to work the convergence tool, but I didn't think about that. All right. So right there is that other strobing. Like, that looks crazy. Okay, that's 240p. Let's check it out at 480i and see. Oh man, that even like changes the geometry on this set. It looks like. Woo, there you go. There's a weird. Now that even looks bad on my screen. Like, I'm not sure what we're trying to accomplish here. It actually is supposed to output more than that Lyra Fox, but this is just the only ones we're actually able. Hey, look, that's the only ones we're actually able to support through a composite video. Like, there's if I go to the video menu, it has options to go into a lot of different modes that I can't use with the composite video cable. I would need to switch over, and maybe we could do something like that here in a minute. But that's going to require me to move an entire different big CRT, 20-inch CRT in here. So we'll see. Maybe if we can get to like 30 likes or something, I'll do it. I got a Sony CRT behind me somewhere. Anyway, we're at 480i. I don't know if this will see. It obviously won't let me push any 480p through a composite cable. It won't even let me select it, and that makes sense. Now, if I had component cables, it probably would let me try that even into this set, and you would see how it's not going to support it. But right now we're in 480i. Yeah, it's an analog only set, like Matt D says. So, color bleed check, yeah. It's higher, it's just higher resolution on this test. It's wow, crazy. Okay. Let's go back to 240p because that's what we like to see. Oh, there we go. That's fun. Yeah, it does. So, I think we talked about it when we read the manual, but this does 288p with 264p assets, 576i scaled 240p assets, and those are for PAL, 576i 480p 240p assets for PAL, 480p scaled 240p assets and scan lines, 480p mixed 480p. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here, but there might even be more. It's only available through VGA, and that's it. Okay, that's the rest of these three are PALs, and these two down at the bottom need to be done through VGA. Well, I know, I just had this one around. Honestly, I don't have like a multi-format PVA really handy down here. I do, but I don't have any way to go from. I might not have any way to go from VGA. Maybe I do to BNC to it. Do I? What am I trying to output? Cannot remember. So I need to go. Anyway, sorry, I was getting lost in my head thinking about moving over to a different one, which we will. Maybe we just need to do that. White RGB screens. There's our white. Like, we could test for noise. We could also see our intensity for each color and check for purity issues with this. If you have purity issues, it'll show up here really easily. 100 IRE. So this is see how you can scale in the intensity and down, up and down on the outside ring of that to scale it up to 140 IRE. Let's see what this is. This is going to have some information. IRE is a unit used in the measurement of composite video signals. Again, just composite for this one. Its name is derived from the initials of the Institute of Radio Engineers. A value of 100 IRE was originally defined to be the range from black to white in a video signal. A value of 0 IRE corresponds to the 0 voltage value during the blanking period. The sync pulse is normally 40 IRE below the 0 value. So peak to peak on all white signals should be equal to 140. If you combine the 40 IRE below to get the sync line below 0, all the way up to 100 IRE, that's where you get 140. The reason IRE is relative measurement percentage is because of the video signal may be any amplitude. You can use the L and R to trigger the change between 100 IRE to 0 IRE in steps of 10 IRE. The Dreamcast is slightly above 7.1 or 713.4 millivolt white, but you can toggle between the Dreamcast 0 800 MAV values and simulated 0 714 value ranges with Y. Okay, a lot of stuff there. And press X for 10, 5, 2, and 1 IRE steps. There you can change the range to 100 to 140. And this is really better if you hook it up to like the scope and you look at a lot of this stuff and see what it looks like on the screen as you increase that. We're just looking at the center that time, right? That's all it is. That's 100, the most, and then this is 0. And we're going up in increments of 10. And so that's pretty much this. You can just use as a sharpness pattern to test and improve your sharpness. If your TV has a sharpness filter on composite, you can do this and just look for a sharper image in there. Here's some of our test patterns. Okay. For geometry. Monoscope pattern. Wow, this is a different monoscope pattern. Keith will have to come on here and tell me the benefits of this monoscope pattern. Most of the benefits. Gosh. So there's only a single. We have a single red block in the middle. And we can expand, I think, from 0 to probably 100 IRE by going L and R on there. Okay. Let's just see what help says here. Lots of information. We should just read this. Okay. The monoscope pattern is the traditional tool for calibrating CRTs. This version aims to provide several key elements to ensure you make informed decisions about convergence and deflection. Refer to your monitor service manual for procedures and safety equipment. 1. Brightness adjustable pattern. Electron gun alignment or convergence is usually adjusted with a lowered brightness. Full brightness can mask issues with excessive bloom, especially if your peak white is too high. You can double check your adjustments against the 30 IRE pattern. Static center convergence. The center crosshairs is used to evaluate static or center screen convergence. Dynamic edge convergence can be evaluated with the patterns on the side of the screen. Corner convergence. Corner purity and corner geometry are tightly linked. Static and dynamic convergence must be set first before magnets can successfully correct corner issues. Just true. Let's continue on. Aspect ratio. Aspect ratio. Few new features to help set V size and horizontal size correctly is the red squares embedded in the pattern. They are calculated to display a pattern or a perfect squares on properly set up displays. You may want to start with a small amount of horizontal overscan. Then use a tape measure to adjust size vertically, and outside edges of the red square are the same in the width and height. This usually achieves an amount of overscan that preserves the title safe area. Some games may not adhere to those boundaries, but most do. No, Master Safer, this is 240p. Oh, I went to page 3. Linearity is the hardest of the deflection circuit. Hardest part of the deflection circuit. Scrolling tests are the best way to confirm good linearity, but some compensated square elements have added to each other, or have added to each corner, where a tape measure may help you get started. You can press L and R buttons to advance 10 IRE, like I said, in steps on the selected range. Woo, a lot of information, good stuff. So this is 0 IRE, okay? 0. And you can see the red and green red square there. That's our tool to measure our aspect ratio. So, for example, I have this soft measuring tape that is used to measure like your pant size or something, or maybe the size of your cranium. I bet I have like a 30-inch head, you know, like that kind of thing. So I'm not going to say that. But if we take this measuring tape, we can use it to measure these sides. So for in inches, for example. Oh, we're at about 7 3/4 vertical. Oh, and we're about 8 horizontal. We're at about 8 horizontal. So we are out of aspect ratio. So stuff on this set would appear wider than it should. So we need to expand the vertical through the submenu on the set. But that's one. And that's why it looks like you could still see the edges of this whole image on the top and bottom. Yet the edges of the screen on the right and the left are barely visible, where it's all the way pushed to the edge. Like I said, you could check convergence by looking at these dots. These are the squares that can help with purity if they're all the same size. And yeah, I mean, the set doesn't look terrible just from its normal set, but it is a little bit off. It could use an adjustment. And that's, as you go and increase that, you can tell that when it's at 100 IRE, or the full pattern, it does hide a lot of the convergence issues. So that's why you want to be able to do it at a very low setting, like something like that. You could check all your convergence on there. Start with the center, move your way out using those patterns. Grid pattern, 240p, full grid. This is the pattern we used to have to use before the monoscope pattern was really around, but it still can be helpful in showing all squares across the entire screen, where they all land. Are they all uniform? And it definitely helps with convergence. Let's see what it says about, here's another convergence pattern. Ooh, like, so you could see, how fun is that? It has a bunch of different, this is a cool pattern, right? Look at that. You can see with black lines added. But these are to help you adjust your convergence. Lots of cool stuff in this one that's not in the other versions that I know of. Okay? I didn't have any of these other versions available, or these other convergence patterns like this. So let's see what this says about help. It says these are used to adjust color convergence in a CRT display. Button A changes the pattern between crosshatch lines crosses, dots, and color pattern with or without a black grid for transition boundary check. Left and right on the D-pad allows cycling between color patterns. Or between patterns, sorry. Can do left, right, or A. That looks pretty cool if you just did that like really fast. Alright, convergence. Let's go to the overscan thing because I want to see what this says. This is something different. With this pattern, you can interactively find out the overscan in pixels and percentage of each edge in a display. Use the R and L triggers to increment the overscan until you see the white border. Then go back 1 pixel. The resulting number is the amount of overscan in pixels in each direction. The A button resets all the borders to 0. For precise results in PAL modes, we're not in PAL. It's interesting. You see there? It's finally coming into view. So we're like 5%. That's a 5%. Let's see. Pretty close to 5% there, you see it. You can start to see that white. Let's see their left. Yeah, we're pretty low. Look at that, we're only 0 point. But we're pretty close to that too. See that? That's interesting. It does give you some measurements here. So we're like 5% top overscan, 5% low overscan, and then 1 pixel overscan on the left and the right to get there. What does that say? Again, interactively find out the overscan in pixels and percentage of each edge of the display. The white border triggers increment the overscan. See the white border, then go back 1 pixel. Okay, so we actually should go back 1. I mean, so basically the left and right are at 0 pixels overscan. They're right on the overscan line, right? But these are at 5 and 6 pixels. This is so interesting. Hey, Wobble. Wags Mike. Thanks for coming. All right. This is a new pattern for me. HCFR. And this might be... This menu shows the HCFR software profiles. REC 601 NTSC is recommended for NTSC CRT users, so that's the one we're going to use. Huh. Okay, so this is just more patterns. Like we're at gray right now. Red. Oh, okay. It gives us a ton of different patterns to check. I'm sure what we can do is we can use these patterns easily to check our color with. They're right in the center, so that would tell me that they're probably going to be like for what? Colorimeters. Right? To check. Cole just wanted to come up and say, hey, he was feeling a little lonely. This is magenta. So, I'm going to say, hey. Boom, 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 boom. Look. Say, hey, everybody. Tired of sleeping? Poor guy. Misses his buddy, too. Brutus. Can barely see him on the screen. He's so dark. Look at him. Ah, he wants to fall asleep. This dog snores louder than any dog you've ever heard in your life. All right. Back there, that's the magenta pattern, see? So, lots of stuff in here. Gives us some readings about what we're actually looking at down there. That's crazy. This is stuff that's not in the other menus, and this is maybe why Keith told me to wait for this one to come out. This is going to be one of the best ones. Patterns. Generators. For $25, you're also supporting, local businesses, especially Artemio deserves his credit, and I fully support these kind of products. Okay, audio tests. I mean, there's sound tests. There's the MD Fourier tests. And let's just see what this does. I don't think I've ever ran this. Using... Oh. That's the sound pattern for MD Fourier. It actually did make a little beep. Woo! That's... I mean, it sounds like my TV's about to explode. You guys can't hear it because I got sound filtering on, probably. But it sounds like an old school arcade machine. Record the signal. I don't have really a way to record it, but... Now it's testing just all the audio channels. This is crazy. Oh, baby. Okay. Since we're not actually recording those results. That's right, wave generator sleep. I turned that up a little loud and heard it in my ear. But look at all the stuff you get in here. So many things. What else is there? The audio sync test. Oh, look at that. Can tell if your audio syncing. Yeah. Dog doesn't know what to think right now. He's here. He's jumping around. He's staring at this TV set like it's some kind of foreign alien right now. You all right, buddy? Yeah. Microphone, don't have that. Man, we have a bunch of crazy controllers on here. Okay, so you can check and see. Obviously, look at that. You're getting registers. That's a cool thing. I love these controller tests to see what kind of... Wow, it is really deep. Let me go grab one of those fishing rods, see if it says something. Oh yeah, here we go. How many of y'all ever seen one of these things, remember these? Let's see what it says. Let me plug it in. I don't know. Can you just plug these in without turning off the Dreamcast? Or do I need to turn it off and back on? I don't know. I mean, this one's looking awesome right here. If you can use it to hook up, you got to just get your Dreamcast ready. Here we go. Yeah, look at that. It says. So let me see if I can get in a little closer here. Oh, I've got some something going on this controller. Look at it. maybe get you in here a little closer. Hopefully I could show you. So if we look at this controller test here, this is something new. Do you see I'm registering a reading here. So something sending signals through very lightly, but it is like showing buttons working. Buttons. See, they light up. So like X, A, B, Y. The whole movement is registering. And I want to see what happens. Like, I don't know. See? Oh, cool. Look, so what's registering right now, that top numbers are changing as I reel. I know it might be hard to see on that flickering screen. But you see how it's at 0 right now? And if I start spinning, it goes up to like 200. And then it goes back to 0. And then, start. Let's see. What's the other one? And then the other one's based on the motion control. So you can see, that's why it's flickering. You see up there on the left-hand side? Whew. As I move that, that's what it's based on. You know, motion control is pulling and... So, yeah. Isn't that something? So this actually could test, because you could tell it's doing something right there. If I hold it still, it stops. Movement. Oh, this is so cool. Reeling, registered. You can use this to test any controller, right? Peripheral. Make sure you have no problem with it. Cool. That's very interesting and important. So... let's see what's next. Oh, how do you get out of this? Left and start on controller 1. Oh, left and start. What? Oh, left, dummy. There we go. So you have to, like, get out of it. Got to get out of it. So that's why it was drifting like that, is because it was literally recording my motion. Isn't that something? So I don't have the, like, microphone or the light gun, so that's not showing up. This just tells me my BIOS on this. And I don't have any, like, a flash card or ROM or anything. Wow. Maybe that's just on this, the actual hardware. Very cool. Alright, guys. Where's the scroll tests? There's so many of these tests right here. Look, here's Donna. Now, if you did, like, you can't tell on my screen or your screen. It looks like it's just blacked out. But there's a strobing going on. And that's why the thing will disappear sometimes. If you notice on your screen, like, it looks like there's nothing there. And then, oh, hopefully it'll come back. There, see how it, like, blinks sometimes and shows up on your screen? Because it's not like it's trying to blend. There it is. Disappears. So you're only catching certain lines on your screen and others are disappearing. But this is a way to test if your screen can do 240p correctly. Of course, we're on CRT, so we're not going to have any issues with that. That's another one. Similar. Only doesn't strobe. You know, I don't know. You have to check with Pepe Salat. I think it's just his own design character. Can I ask him on Twitter? So this is, again, the manual lag test. You could use this with a high frame speed camera See if you could detect lag in your display. Could test your reflexes. Ooh. 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 So, I mean, this is all stuff that's in each one of these. Has been here forever, right? Oh, this is something. Whoa. Whoa. I love that test. Look at that. That would just be cool to set up. And I just want to set this up. What can we do with this? This pattern can be used to adjust the vertical and horizontal scaling in video processors in different resolutions. The test uses a higher resolution assets of 480p when in that mode. The angle increment for line rotation can be adjusted by fractions up with the X and Y. And we can use L and R. We can use X and Y and L and R. Okay, that's gonna go very slow. Look at that. That's cool. I love it. What kind of stream are any of you guys watching on Monday? Master Safer? Right? I mean, this is like art. I wish I could make like that. No, actually I don't. I like it. Whoops. Alright. So that just slows the angle. Okay. X, not B. X and Y do that, okay? So it goes... What does L and R do? I thought it said L and R did something. Ooh, ah. Monday, baby. Actually, I did have a plan to... I had like 2 other things to stream about. One was going to be on the FW900 cap kit, but I'm just going to have to make that this afternoon, probably off stream. And I also have this PVM in this box that I need to open up and check out. So, how about this? I'm going to take a 5-minute break, take a little bathroom break, and I'll come back and we'll do something else because we've kind of run through all the stuff on this task pattern. But what I'll do is I'll do this, okay? You guys tell me what you want to see. Let's go. I've got no joke. Look at this. I'm not even lying. I got this that came from USPS Priority Mail this weekend. I have no idea if it's okay. It survived my porch. It was on my porch all night. No one stole it. So what's inside of there is a 5-inch Sony PVM. So if you want me to do that, I could switch over and do that. Or let me see if I have the other. We could do that, or I could probably switch over and start talking to you guys instead about working on this FW900. But that's going to move into a little bit of a different direction where we'll be working on a cap kit for it. We could do that unboxing if anybody wants. I'll let you guys decide. Just put in the comments if you want me to unbox the 5-inch, or if you want, it's a 5041Q, like the little PVMs, so we can look at it. Be like this big, as big as my face. And yeah. Do you guys think it was damaged in shipping? That's actually a better bet. All right. Instead, we're going to do the unboxing. I've decided. Let's do the unboxing. Oh, look, Leaf. I promise, if I do this FW900, I'm going to do that on a stream. So I just don't know that I'm really set up to take the 20 minutes to go find everything, but I can. But but I do need to unbox this thing. So let's just unbox this one, and then on the next stream, I'll do the FW9. I'm working on the cap kit for it. Okay, so that, but don't worry, we're going to get started on that because I have to get that project going. So I need to get those parts ordered so that I can get them on here and actually work on the boards. And so I want to do that too, but I'm going to do that in a different stream. Today we're going to do this FW, or we're going to do this unboxing. Just give me a minute and I'll come right back. I'll leave it on here. I'll put a note in here. And I will see you guys all in about, 5. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you. I have gone to the restroom. And I'm going to cut this off. And let me turn down the music just a little bit. Thank you for the reminder there, Race. Good to see you here. Good to see Leaf overclockwise. Matt D still here. And we're about to switch the tone up a little bit of this stream. We're going to look at something a little different. So give me a second. We're going to switch out this set for a box and we'll kind of go from there. All right. Let's get this old Penetron out of the way. And it was something much lighter. I try not to make sure I don't accidentally show an address here. And let me make sure my microphone's aimed so that you all can hear me. I'll actually turn that up a little bit. There we go. Let's go to this camera. This camera. Okay, this was an eBay purchase. You're right. It has been sent in an 18 by 12 by 12 box. That did take a little bit of a beating on top. Priority mail. I paid $210 US for this shipped on eBay. Made an offer, and that's how much it came out to when everything was said and done. Now it was power tested and it came on, but that was really it. I didn't have any way to test it for anything other than powering it on. So let's see what we have in our box. First time. Let's see, everybody. What's in the box? What's in the box? Bunch of paper, packing paper, packing paper, packing paper, And right here is our important item. All right. Now we can come back to the desk. And I'll put down the monitor, and then I will show you. I'll show you what the packing material is. Lots of it. Lots of the stuff. All right, so this is the box. It was just a single wall box, right? Pretty flappy. Probably new, but single wall. There it is. 1812. You find these at like Office Depot or Office Max all day. Staples for like $1.50 or something. Okay. And then it's just filled with these things, different sizes of these, which is like a recycled paper pulp that actually is thicker. And let's face it, that's a little bit better than like if it was filled with peanuts, you know. So that's pretty much it. And then I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you over here what it actually looks like on my desk. So here, wait. No, there we go. Here it is. See? What do you think? There's the screen side, I believe. Back side, bottom, top, who knows? Oh, that's not. No, this is the screen side. Yes, everybody's delightful desire for 2020, when everybody had crazy money to waste on things. This was one of those items people were always just buying up for some reason. And I originally had thought that this kind of a monitor wouldn't have much value to people. And so I never really, I've gone and maybe worked on 2 of them. And those always belonged to clients. I brought them here in the shop and just cleaned out some stuff. And they would bring them, I'd fix them, but I never had my own. And will I keep this one? I don't know. Right? Just paper. And this. I know it, right? I mean, I can't believe people aren't like scared to death when they ship these things. That they just don't care, I guess. They get them for nothing, maybe. All right, well, let's remove this wrapping and see what we got. This is, thanks everybody who stayed around. I know some of you guys have been here pretty much the whole stream, and I appreciate that. And since that's the case, we'll do as much as we can. I mean, it's still got a little more time. I started early today. We've been going about an hour and a half. And you'll notice the way I unwrap these, I'm trying to just cut these edges where I can maybe keep this as one piece as possible, meaning the bubble wrap. If I do that, I can really reuse it again. So what do you think? Oh, there's some kind of liquid over here on it. It's never nice to see. Just a little bit, though. Just rip this part at this seam. Be gone. Let's see. Let's go overhead. Let's see if I can get you overhead now. And move this out of the way. Make sure we're not disconnected on the live stream. We're good. Let's go overhead cam. And try to get a good look at this PVM. So let's see here. Yeah, of course these are dirty. I mean, look at some funk up here, but you see the sheen. There's a little bit of a sheen right here where there's some kind of liquid on there. I don't know if it's anything major. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Well, that's it right there. Face to face. Look at this. Look at this thing. All right. Moving this out of the way. I don't see any broken pieces of anything there. So that's all good news. Let me show you some cool little features on this thing, right? It's the only one to actually have a built-in stand, so you can have it kind of aimed towards you. Let me show you on the other camera. So you can have it, you can have it either flat on the desk, or if you needed to angle it up, look at you a little better, you can see it. See it like this. And go, I'm playing on original hardware. So, it's more of a novelty item, I believe, because it fits on a shelf. And, you know, here, let's just see. Let's just see here. If I could just do this, like, it's a lovely thing about being live here, folks. You get to see the wonderful 2008 Tennessee Titans championship t-shirt, the last time they were actually good. So, let's see what we have for this tiny little fellow here. And I mean, this is like cool if you were some like amazing, I don't know, if you're somebody important and you had a cool office and you had one of these just sitting out there, that'd be pretty awesome. You're like, you'd be a pretty good badass then. It's 5 inches, baby. Diagonale. 5 true inches. Now, if we look at the outside of this, it's about 5 3/4 this direction. And this direction, we're sitting at 6.5 inches. 6.5 by 5 3/4. And if we take a first look at these nice buttons down here. So this one also has a like overlay on the screen protector. It's plastic. So you bang your fingers against them, or somebody comes up and hits it with a microphone stand. You're like, oh, you got me a big scratch on here. Yeah, don't worry about that. So down here, we have line RGB, HV delay. We have blue only and underscan. And then we have volume, contrast, phase, chroma, and brightness controls. Power on and off. And that's it. Let's see. Trinitron branding and logo right here. Right there. I mean, it does look cool, right? Like, if you wanted to do some kind of cool little, like, setup. Alright, man, this song is just a little too funky. This one's pretty funky, too. Let's get in here and something down there. Oh. Anyway, let's just try to... Alright, so back to it. We're about to plug it in after we look at it a little bit more. It's in a good condition unit. I mean, it doesn't look bad. Just a closer look at the bottom, where you see this kickstand. That's very cool. I wish they had these on the 8-inch ones. There might be one 8-inch that had this, like possibly the 9 BVM D9. I can't remember. I've forgotten. It might have it. Here's some feet for it to stand on. I'm sorry about the autofocus. I know it's just deal with it for a second. Another foot, another foot. March of 1997, Sony Corporation. 97 is when this is from. And if you look at the back, because this is what everybody wants to see, really. Is the back. It does. Oh, come on, focus in on there. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. That's a beautiful shot. We've got line A, which is, as you can tell, composite video out, which we've got the little signal here. That means it's auto terminated, okay? We don't have to use a terminator. Got audio support on this guy. Mono audio. And then this is the sync control. So if we're going to use it with just, we're going to test it on line A first. We want to have this sync on internal. And then right under that, you can see there's a RGB or component switch. So you can use component, and then you need to have it internal sync because you're going to use RGB. And then if you need external sync, you can turn it. There's audio in, a remote control, DC plug, AC plug, vertical hold, potentiometer, a single old school battery slot, and a closer look at the serial number for the 5041Q. No S-video support on these little guys. There is no room for S-video on these little fellers. But yes, it does do component video, so that's not all bad, right? Folks, all right. Well, first off, I need to get this all turned around, and let's test it out finally, because... Oh, it's a little too close. There we go. Wrong direction. My apologies. Let's test this guy out. I'm going to have to get a power cable and some other stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Well, I mean, it fits right here. That's a good thing. So we could just probably hook it up and first test it on the main camera, if that's what everybody would like to see. Maybe we could do it like that. Do it like that. That doesn't look so bad. I know the light's in the background, but I don't think it's overly glaring. How does that look? Good? We're going to try it like this first. And let me get some cabling here for this. Okay. We're going to use the same console we've been testing today. And we'll see what this looks like. Yeah, well, first off, we got to see if this thing even turns on. Well, hopefully it'll turn on. Might be wasting our time. Thanks for everybody coming and hanging out. We're pushing on 2 hours for today's stream, but might as well go all out and do what we can here. Okay. Let's turn it around for a second. And then have it on internal sync back here. I'm gonna use this, the wonderful Canair BNC to RCA adapter, best they make. We can do that. Should be able to go composite and audio in like that. I know, right? I know. First off, I know that's plugged in. This is not plugged in. I'm going to now plug this in. to my surge protector. So now we've got powered plugged in. Let's just see what happens. I mean, no more. Nothing else to really consider. We just thanks, Edible Goat. Hope this is cool. Let's see what happens. Now, I did bring a cool little thing to show off with this. First off, let's no, it doesn't have stereo audio, but you can put Matt, you can put stereo audio into it in the output, and it actually, for some reason, wires it together, so you can use the mono audio speaker on this to input both stereo, and it'll push it through the speaker safely. I don't know why they're designed like that. So you don't actually have to use the splitter with this one. I've got splitters, but you don't have to if it has two inputs. It's really just a weird feature of these PVMs. I've shown it off a couple times in videos. But anyway, let's just, I mean, who cares about that? Let's hope it works. All right, here we go. Oh, I hear the tube coming on. I see the green light right there. You see that? Of course, you see that little green light there. And turn the Sega on. Ooh. Look at that. There's not anything wrong with this one. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect. Let's make sure it's running okay. How's it look? Might need to change it over to a different camera that you can see better. Let me zoom out some. Ooh, look. Zoom in. Man, that's crazy. Look at that. Scrolling because the frame rate's not exactly matching up. It's like a little bit off. Look at that. I mean, this is actually a really nice one. I was concerned because, again, I didn't see this. Usually you'll get these and you can get them and actually have the color be out. So that means RGB should work. So we can actually check out RGB. Again, I don't have RGB or component cables for my Dreamcast, so we can check some other system out. And what I can do is I can move this over to the other table. Ah, it looks good. It's not even like out of aspect ratio. Thanks. Yeah, it looks pretty darn good for... All right, let's... we verified that it's working. Now I want to kick it up a little bit. I'm going to move it over here back to the bench so that I can get it on the camera that is a little bit more CRT friendly. So that's a good deal. I don't know what the most anybody's ever paid for this one, but it was getting seriously crazy. Things were getting seriously out of control for this one a couple years ago, and I'm not sure what drove it besides probably everybody having money. Look at this. This is something I was going to show. It's a tube that's saved from a salvage job. This is the tube that's inside of these little monitors, and there's the model number on there. So that's A13J ZV00X, Sony made Trinitron tube, 5 inches, and even at that you can see it's got the one curved side and the other flat edge. And check out now, first off, the person who salvaged this, look at this, they for some reason took this they took and cut the anode cap rather than just removing it, right? Okay, because it's got the glue on there. So they cut it. And they took the yoke off of it, but they left all the convergence strips, right? See those? And you see the wedges where the yoke was sitting against. And then you follow this back, and this is our CRT gun, our color Trinitron gun back in here. And this is our CRT socket, you know, or this goes into the neckboard socket at the end of the gun right in there. And that's how that looks. Now, sometimes you'll get these, you'll have an accident, and this black spacer, this plastic will break, but that doesn't mean the tube's shot. Yeah. It's one of those things, man. It went crazy for a little bit. I think you could probably go find within the last 2 years somebody spent $600, $700, $800 on one of these, I bet. Now, I'm not saying that's what it should be done now, but it would totally be like something you really want to have for a restored one of these. Because, I mean, I had to pay $200 for one that just wasn't even tested. Convergence strips, they had so many convergence strips on these little things, because I guess they had bad corner convergence on some of them. Like this guy thought, whoever was working on this in the factory thought they, man, I could just make it a little bit better with another strip. A little bit better, and they just keep adding them and adding them and adding them. Sometimes you'll see like twice as many as that, where they're stacked on top of each other over and over, like 3 or 4 of them. So let's hook up, let's try RGB. Okay, let's test this out. Well, I think it too was at the time, there's a lot of novelty behind just getting something that would actually play RGB. I mean, working one of these would still sell all day. It would have sold for more than that if it would have been listed as working. But, you know, they said they'll sell on eBay for $350, $400 working easily. Usually. I mean, not as frequent as they used to, but surprisingly, people will pay that. I know it seems a little crazy. I remember passing on so many of these things way a long time ago when I didn't think anybody was going to be into the CRT thing at all, and PVMs. And I thought, you know, well, they'll be into 20 inches makes sense. I thought back then that 14 inches were even going to be difficult to convince people to use. And, but that was completely wrong. And especially the thing I thought about these little ones. There were so many, I passed on so many. All right, thanks, Matt D. See you later. There were so many different 8-inch PVMs that I passed on over the years. Okay, I'm going to switch it over, my sync, to external sync. And I'm switching over from component to RGB on the back. You got to switch those over to the right switches, or you're not going to get the proper display on your screen. Now connect the BNC adapter here. If it'll fit on here, one of these. Oh, the sync looks like it got damaged. Oh, excuse me. It's bent a little bit. So let's see here. Oh my gosh, the input board is so whacked out. Goodness gracious, I don't know if I can get that on there. There's a big old bend in it. The actual RCA, the BNC adapter. Like it was ripped off. Whatever was on there before was ripped off incorrectly, or it had been dropped and banged with a hammer. Maybe I can bend it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be much. I just need it to be a bit straighter so it won't destroy my adapter. should be okay. That will work. Come on, baby. Oh, yeah, there we go. Here we go. So the SNES is handy. And I also wanted to show you the other one in case somebody showed up late to the stream. This is my other copy of, like, a physical copy of the 240p test suite and the Super Nintendo shell casing here. It was a gift from Artemio last year. Absolutely love this thing. It's got the cool Donna label and just awesome. So we'll pop that in here and use that in my modified Super Nintendo. I think this is the one chip, right? This is the later model that you have to modify. It's got Voltar's modification. I've done that years ago. Let's just flip this guy around and make sure you have enough room. I also added an LED indicator light for when it's turned on, so you know you're getting a signal. Let's pop that up. Let's see what happens if I press. That should have been it. That should have been the one I pressed. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, there we go. See? It is there. Now, it does look dim. There we go. Okay. Perfect, right? This is interesting. Interesting. So there we go. RGB works. I'm sure everything else probably works on it too. Let me move this over here. Maybe we can get a better camera angle if I do this. Let me move this over here. Oh, we got to bring that camera in. Oh, we got to bring that camera in closer. But we're going to get a more solid image. Disappeared. Where did it go? You have to be quicker than that. Oh, there we go. Oh, let's try to do a little bit of down sweep. It's a little better. Let me see if I can get the adjustment a little better for you. Not that. I wonder if I add some more light in there, if it look better. Maybe if I turn it. Let's see what I can do. Getting a lot of glare off that protector, screen protector. Okay, here we go. So let's get this camera focused and then we will. There we go. Be able to see a little better. See that? Maybe we can even zoom in some. Ooh, look at that. So this is, that's pretty good. Okay. Let's leave that. Oh, I'm going to try to keep that shot there for you folks. That's pretty ridiculous one. This is about as close as we can get. Let's go over the main camera feed. Okay, so this is the 5-inch screen here. It's pretty good. Let's pull up some of these patterns. So, monoscope, right? This is our monoscope that is a little bit different. This is the past monoscope. Let me get that IR reset. There we go. Let me zoom out a little bit. And that way you can see a little more. Get a little bit better perspective of what that actually looks like. Better representation. So this is the actual screen here. Yeah, you want to see a staring contest. This is the edition where he doesn't blink. But, you know, I didn't think there would be no problems with this, but I'm not complaining that there are no problems. Let's see if we can go to the, let's go back to the, yeah, no bleed. Let's go back to the monoscope for a second. I mean, it could definitely use an adjustment. You can tell it probably needs a little bit of an expansion in the vertical, and then a little bit of a decrease on the horizontal maybe, or can increase both more just to make sure you get the correct aspect ratio, but it doesn't look terrible. So let's go to do some video tests. Like, you know, that's kind of, it's got pretty good linearity, right? That's pretty amazing. I thought that would actually need some more work, but hey, good job, eBay seller, you know? But the question remains, guys, can you really use one of these? I mean, get it, zoom back out. How long could you use one of these? Right? I don't know. It's the same size as maybe a small like if you were playing correct aspect ratioed retro games on a small iPad or portable display like that. This is what equal to like a 9-10 inch probably for a widescreen. You know, if it were in widescreen, the vertical scroll, sure. There we go. And this will show edge warping really good. Like if you have, it's a lot of people get crazy about, like this will show if you need a pin cushion adjustment. Maybe I could go in even closer just without even doing anything besides just messing with the camera settings right now. So check out that edge, right? Should be able to see that now. But people will watch this edge just like, look, there's a hiccup right there. Right there, there's a hiccup. Down at the bottom. Do you see it? I'm like, yeah, I see it. I mean, you know, sometimes you're kind of stuck with some of these things. But that's when you want to consider, hey, maybe a cap kit would help it. Make it look better. So you're like, I need to get the cap kit. I need to do all this other stuff to this monitor. Should we start servicing this, or should we, since this one's done, we just leave it running and start working on some other stuff? Continue the stream. What do you guys want to do? Build some helmet mount for it so you can have one close to your face at all times. Do you think that would be something that would get a lot of views? You think the algorithm would like that one? Grace, that would be hilarious. You're right. Imagine if you're like, well, I can make it perfect with the perfect head weight. Of course, the funny thing is it would be extended so far out this way, right? You're standing so far in front of your face, you'd have to have a giant counterweight on your back. So you'd look just like the, maybe that's what you could do. You could put a camera on a helmet and you would look like the villain from Silent Hill. You could put that helmet on and put a camera on the helmet, live feeding into the monitor, and with the battery, and then you walk around, and you could be using it that way, or you could just put it on and be like retro gaming and like the most ridiculous, like Virtual Boy almost, right? So. I think we might have found something to do there. All right, let me zoom back out here on this video. This camera's actually doing better than it used to do, guys. I actually figured out a couple things. I'm starting to get better at these streams. A little bit better. I'm trying. Trying things. It's starting to happen. It's working better than I'd, nothing's crashing or anything yet, so that's all good. But I had a problem with USB bandwidth. Pyramid Head, yes. Pyramid Head, that would be it. So, that's a 50401Q. Unboxed. What time is it? 12:12. That was way too easy. Way too easy. Let's see what a game looks like. I mean, Samus is the best to show on these, really. I don't... Oops, forgot. Gotta switch out the cartridge. How many of you guys have one of these OG bad boys? I bought this SD to SNES a long time ago. I want to say like 2016. And I paid, I don't remember. I felt like I paid over $300 to get it set up. And it's just, I love this thing. It's been great forever. I'm sure the modern ones are better. There we go. Yeah, Gradius isn't too bad. Let's put that on there for a second. The sound is working. I wonder if I turn this light back here off, that helps stay off the glare. Sound works good. But we listen to jazz in this place when we're celebrating a PVM being born. So, guys, I really need to get working on this FW900, but I also could clean up around here a little bit. What do you think? Want to hang out a little longer? Be the most like weird stream. Who cares, right? I mean, if you're here at 2 hours in, still 30 people in here. It's like a good class. I know, I thought this one did save states, Wobble. I just can't get it to work. I never really have been able to get save states to work on these. I have such early versions of these cartridges. So, I really need to get the Sega one that's better, but I'm still rolling that cheap old one. $40, $50 one. All right, that's looking good. Let's go over here. What I'm going to do is... So we could do two things. What do you guys want to do? You want to keep you want to just service this thing, or should we maybe I really got to get this cap kit ordered. I might need to take another break, and I'll put this on like a game loop again, and I gotta get this cap kit ordered for the FW900. So we're literally doing a stream about First off, this amazing new 240p test suite version for the Sega Dreamcast, which I don't get. And look, this is not, I don't want anybody to think like this is some kind of endorsement deal. I don't get any kickbacks on this. I just want more products like this. So I'm actually happy. I ordered this a long time ago, just one copy. And now that it's out, I'll order more for myself and I'm paying full retail. So I feel like, again, these independent projects, this is a great piece of software. You saw me roll through like 3/4 of it. And that's not even at the higher resolutions, which I will try to do later on with somebody who's more professionally in tune with all this, like Keith Rainey. He's done a stream with me before on vector scopes, and we could do a great stream, I think, with all this stuff together. So let's just try to get ready for the FW900 creation of a cab kit for it, because that will be a little bit relaxed too, where we can just hang out and talk through that. It's so hard to see. So I better just look at my computer screen. It is so hard to see what game I'm actually selecting on, like from here, sitting here. I mean, I love the idea of this thing. And the fact that it works is just even like bonus. So let's do a fair thing. Let's give it a test. Maybe we can burn out the capacitors. Hey, Master Safer had a question. Steve, I think I have one of those trench-on PC monitors where the tent layer is baked into the glass, but I need to sand it. Ooh, gosh, you have to sand it down to get that off? Baked into the glass, good grief. That's going to take some really experimentation. I would be more willing to try something if there was anything to possibly get it out with a chemical, and then try to do a new layer on top of it of something. Yeah, Brandon, you have to sit 5 inches away from it. It looks, but look, like, I mean, what can you say? It's all right, but yeah, novelty, baby. That's the novelty. Okay, I promise, guys. Thank you for hanging out today. It's been a lot of fun. We're just gonna keep kind of rolling with things. Let's see how Cole's doing. He's taking a nap down here. Like I said, he's missing his buddy Brutus. I know he is, because I miss him too. There's a guy I also should get on here that he's from the UK, and he just did a screen glass repair with a kit of some kind of chemical to fix it. And he said it's been working good. It's like Retro Bit UK. I'll figure it out, because I've talked to him in DMs back and forth a little bit, and need to get him on here too. You could definitely use this on a camping trip. If you have Stefan asked a good question. Look, if you have an anode cap like this and it's glued on and you have no reason to discharge it, don't discharge it at all, okay? Don't discharge it, just leave it as is, okay? There's no point to it unless you need to remove the cap to swap out the tube and you want to keep that. Then you need to remove that, like probably with some acetone or something. Yeah, I miss Brutus too. It's kind of depressing. Even though 15 years, you know, it's a long time, like I said before, to have anybody, any pet be able to survive that long. Whoops. Okay, just making sure everything's still good. Every time I like put my arm down and I hit the keyboard, I'm always concerned I hit something for OBS. But what I'll do now is I'll get my notes. I've got a pile of notes, because you remember, some of you will remember back in maybe a year ago, maybe not quite a year ago, I worked on a Sony FW900. Now this one was branded as like the HP model, and it never really worked when it got here. It looked like the tube was shorted out, and I told the owner of it, hey, I think the tube is shorted out. And I said, you know, I've already gone through it, done all this done all this work to it to just try to check it out and, you know, kind of get a grasp of what was wrong with it. Spent a few hours testing it, but it was just the tube, I believe, is bad, and the guy donated it to the shop because he didn't want to come drive all the way back and pick it up. Which is understandable, right? Who would want to pick that up after you find out it's already busted? So I did try to recap the boards before. It never worked. I just did a video about that. So I've got another one here in the shop that does work. And before I start tearing it apart and doing actually videos on it, thanks Wobble. Before I actually do videos on it, it depends. I'm looking at the chat right now. So anyway, I need to get to work on that FW900, and the first thing I have to do is order a cap kit. So I need to go get all my stuff for the cap kit, and I'll come back and we'll do the stream. Continue the stream on the cap kit building. But yeah, thank you for condolences on Brutus. And then Stefan said, recapping, again, it depends. Like these little ones, you pull the boards out. I've done it on the videos. You don't always have to pull it out. You don't always have to pull that anode cap out unless it is part of the board with the flyback and you're recapping that board. And sometimes you could even leave it in if you could access the board around it, like in some of the 2030s, 2530s, for example. You shouldn't need to really pull the caps on those even when you recap because the boards are accessible from the sides. So that's just kind of a CRT by CRT thing. All right, guys, I do need to go to the bathroom again. I do need to get some more water. I do need to get my notes, and we'll get back on this. I'll put a note in the chat. So if you want to hang out, keep us going during your work week, work day, this Monday, I can stay with you for a little while longer. We'll get to work on that, and I'll be right back. Coming back. Here we are. Sorry about that. Thank you. You are so edged. I know. I wish edging still worked. It was a fun little treat when it did. Here we go. Let's get back into this. Here are my notes. Handwritten notes from last time when I worked on this project. So I'd like to look at those with you. Let's see here. So 3DO Cap Kit was the last thing on the list, and so to make sure everything's going good. I'm still live. Yes, it says we're going live. Okay. Let me turn down the music a little bit. Sorry about that part. Let's get in here. Check this out. Do a new camera. I'm gonna look here at this. These are my notes from the first time that I attempted to work on this. Actually, when I was telling you about that other FW900. So these were the cab kits that I made. Actually, not a cab kit. I didn't make a cab kit. These are the ones I made specifically for that monitor. So what I'll do is I go look at this, my notes here, and then I compare these notes with the actual service manual. Yeah. Should just leave the camera running 24/7. And the whatever music that I have downloaded for the background here, I've kind of just put them all on today, James. I just picked all the songs and let them do a random shuffle. So this is like some of the boards. I mean, there's a lot of boards in here. I know I'm missing a cap kit for one of them, but this is a G board, 15 caps. Here's some N, S, D, A, G, and H board. And that's 132 caps in those boards. And then I know there's one more board that's on the list, which I was going to switch over here too, which is, let's see here. There we go. So that way we can look at everything. So we got the cap kit list here, right? And then if I pull up this, that's what I was looking for. Check it out. This is our service manual. Okay, down here underneath my head. Okay, it says capacitor right there, but if we look, I'll show you here. See, it says N board. So that's what we're looking at. This is just preventative maintenance cap kit where we want to go through and the owner wants to have all these electrolytics pretty much changed out. So I'm going to document this list. I'm going to try a kit I'm going to make, and then I'm going to post it for Patreon members there on the Discord page once it's done. Here we go. See, we're getting some of these funky songs now, but I don't think you should be able to hear that too much. All right. PVM over there, still running. Everything's good, but this is what we need to refer to. Starting on N board, so like if I'm looking at my list here, where's the N? Oh my goodness, the N board's a big one. So, like these are the ones I was taking out and putting together for the first time I did this, was these. And this is you'll notice a lot of them say ceramic chip on this list. Well, those ones aren't being changed by us because we're not worried about ceramic chips, right? I just want to make sure that I can show you everything as I'm going through it. So I might have to move this back and forth. All right, let me try to get down there and get that. There we go. There we are. Because you see how this is actually wider. It's got like 2 lanes. So I need to just resize some things for a second. And then I can get you the whole view, hopefully, of the parts. Yeah, that's better here. Let's see if we could shrink it down a little more so you could see all the information I'm seeing. Sorry about all this on the fly, guys, but we are live. And that's the beauty of being live, right? We just do things. All right, that's better. I think you can see it all. You can see all the page if you care. And so I have to make this kit for all these boards, right? So I'm looking at this, and I will refer it to my list to make sure, just to make sure that I verified that it's personally in that spot. And I'm going to try to mark off the list of what I need. I need to grab a pen. Okay. My headphones are caught underneath the power cable, but I don't really need them. There we go. All right, everybody ready? So we're looking at this end boards, 36 caps according to this list, but we may not have everything in here. So I've got to go over here and refer to this list. So when I'm looking at this capacitor list, let me see. All right, sorry about that. Hang on. Let me make sure that the problem isn't. Let me go back to this screen. Sorry about that, guys. All right, I saw what happened. I didn't set up the audio correctly on that last page, so we'll just have to stay in this view with everything. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Should have audio back now, yeah. Okay. Whoops. Okay. All right. So back, sorry, to this in list. In. There we go. In. Okay, if we're looking at this, we're going to start with this capacitor list on the starting with this capacitor list right here. Okay? That's what I was saying on the other thing when my audio was off. So we've got our list here. We're not concerned with these ceramic chip capacitors. We're looking at the electrolytics. And the important ones, again, we're referring this to this list. Look down here. First one on my list that I changed out on the last board was C012. And it was a 50 volt, 47 microfarad. Well, if we look over here, we can see that C012 is a 50 volt 47 microfarad capacitor right there, and that's on the list. I feel always more comfortable looking at two things as opposed to just one. Sometimes you could miss a capacitor if you're doing it one way as opposed to the other. So we're just going to take our time and work through this, but we know that C12 is there and that we need that, so that's checked off on my list. And what I'll do is I'm starting a ledger over here on the side of all the capacitors I'm going to need to order. Actually, maybe I should just use a different sheet on here. And what I need is basically the whole list of how many capacitors I'm going to have to order for each value. So let's just start right here, right? Well, if we know that we're going to have 12 is 50 volt 47. Now we're going to have some 50 volt 47s. So 50 V 47 UF. Okay. And then I'll kind of put just maybe to the side a tally for 1. And then check that one off the list, right? Okay, we're also looking at C then. Right under that, there's a 50 volt 22 microfarad. Is that on our... No, see, this is on the actual list in maybe a different spot. But there it is right down here, 50 volt 22. So we can double verify that that exists, kind of. And the 50 volt 22 microfarad, there's nothing really, unless it's got a 33 somewhere. We'll leave a spot for a 33 in case there is one. 50 volt 22 UF, and we have one of those now on our list. And let's say what we've got next. Now, if we look over here on our manual page, the next one would be getting a bunch of ceramic chips we're not worried about. We got a 25 volt 100 microfarad capacitor. So we're going to put that on our list. We're ordering. Goodness, this is going to be a bunch. And then come over here. That's C026. Looking on the cheat sheet here just to verify things, and it's actually right below that one right there, 25 volt 100, and we're good. See, so we just keep on going down this list so that I know I have double verification on these, because you have to be careful with you're messing with this stuff. You take your time and build these things right. Let's go over here. Next one is 31, and it's a 50 volt 10 electrolytic. So 50 volt 10, 1, and that is C31. Looking for 031 right here, 50 volt 10. And so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it like this. And then we're going to go C 50 volt 10, C37. So now since we already have that written down, we'll just put another tally right there. And we're looking for 37, probably somewhere around the same area if it's on the list. Now, if it's not on the list, that's okay. Nope, there it is. I was just going to say we can add it to the list if we need to. It's at the bottom here. So we got the 50 volt 10, right? 37. And we can move down to C. We're going to come into a bunch in a row right here. See all these 38, 39, 40, and 41. They're all the same values. So we know we got 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. And we got to go 38, 39, 40, and 41. 38, 39, 40, and 41 right there off our list. Checked off. That's what we have. So we're getting through it. 43. 50 volt 22. Another one we already have on our list. $50 volt 22. Check it off. And that is 43. C43. Right there. There, guys. If you have, any questions about this, this is how kind of this will work itself out. We're going to keep going through this. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just start going a little bit quicker paced so we could get this list compiled a little bit faster, because I know these parts are pretty much, I think I'm going to be pretty confident that they're all in there, but just to make the stream a little bit better, let's move at a little bit better pace. We're just going to add them to our list here. Let's go. We got two more 49 and 50. We got two more 50 volt 10s right there. And then right here, right, 16 volt 100, 52. Now we could just up that and order a 25 volt 100, which is what we should probably do. But just to be safe, we'll write all this down for right now. I'm just gonna put the 16s lower. And that's a 100. Okay. Now, yes, Hola Planeta, Viva Artemio, absolutely. Okay, so we got 116 volt 100. Keep moving down here. We got a 25 volt 47, 50 volt 22. So we got a 50 volt 22, 25 volt 47. One of those. 50 volt 10 right here. And then another 50 volt 10. So there's two 50 volt 10s, which is a 10. And then we've got a 25 volt 100 on C62. C65 is a 50 volt 1. So we may have a couple below that, or one below it. I'm not sure. We got one of those though. Not worried about the Mylar cap here. Okay, C68, if you see it on the list. And the next one is C70. 16 volt, is that 1000? Yes, that's not 100. You got to watch the values here sometimes. 1000. Just make sure I didn't mess that up anywhere else. Okay. 16 volt, 1000. Right there. And here's a 25 volt 1000 right below it. And that's all for page 1 on our inboard. Let's go back over to this side so you can see the... We're going to start back over here. First one's C80. 50 volt 47. And hopefully we'll get to a point where we're just tacking marks on. 25 volt 47 for C82. And then 84, 50 volt 10 for 84. 50 volt 10 for 87. And 50 volt 16 volt 100 for 91. This has to be the most interesting stream anybody's ever actually sat through, if you guys are still even out there. If you are, thank you very much for hanging out. I know this is different, right? We're just going through a cap kit now. We've done almost 3 separate retro tech things here today. Looked at a new product, looked at an unboxing of a PVM, and now we're working on a cap kit. Don't you love it? Don't you love it? Don't you love it? If you're here and you love it, then you're here and you love it. I can't believe I'm singing and you probably can't hear any songs. There you go. Maybe I'll give it a little background music while I'm working through this. All right, so the last one's 16 volt 100. C91. We are on C95 over here. Look at this. We got a 10 volt 2200 microfarad. Let's go lower. 10 volt 2200 microfarad 1. Okay. Next one is a 50 volt 10 C97. Nerdy Sean, woo is right. Woo! We are here to woo. For 25 volt 47 for C1003 right here. And then if we go down a little bit more, we have another 50 volt 10. Right here. The cursor is. And then under that we have a 16 volt 100. Yep. That one on there. And then we have a bunch of 25 volt 47s right here. 3 of them. So we go 1, 2, 3. And we're about to see, this is a much better pace than before. We're actually going to be able to get through this and order this kit mostly before we jump off the stream. So I'd love to accomplish that as well. 2547, 5105 right here. And then I think that's the same for right under there. 5110, yes. So those are two 2547s. Starting to get up on those. I hope we don't run out of room for 2547. Okay, we got 2547s. We got 2 more of those right under that. And that's it. 2547. We'll just go above it. Just starting to get a lot of those. Go back up here to the top of the list on this hand side now. We have a 5047. And then we have no more capacitors. Look at that, we made it through the caps. Is that right? Are we at 36? Let's see how many we've got total here. If I look over here, let's go overhead. This is the cap list I'm keeping count of. 1, 10, 15, 18, 21, 31, 33, 34, 37, 38, 39. Excuse me. That's not surprising. That's more than the one I did on the last one. There's probably a couple caps I skipped. We're doing them all this time, baby. So that's the end board on here. Now what I will have to do is I will have to print this. I'm probably just going to print this cap kit list off that you saw over here. Thankfully this CRT is well documented. So we're going down. Let's go down now. We're done with the end board. S board. So S board is next. Capacitors, here we go. First one's a 50 volt 10. Right there, you see it? Got a 50 volt 10 right here, C3006. Make sure it gets in your screen. So there's some more 50 volt 10s. Nothing else on that page. Right here we have another 5010, 51, 5010, 51. So two 5010s, 251 microfarad. Then we have 2 more 5010s, 3 5010s right here. The rest of these are chips. There's 3 more 5010s. And go down here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 50 volt 10s. We have 5 more 50 volt 10s out of all those that are electrolytic, so we don't have to count those anymore. We have a 50 volt 4.7 It's a new one. And then we have 25 volt 1000s. Two of those. So, interesting. Now, there's just a couple more capacitors listed on this S-board diagram down here, but they're not. They're ceramic chips, so we're not concerned about them. What if, how many of you guys actually have, is anybody listening here actually have an FW900? Has anybody actually messed with them? Do you guys have any opinions on them? Like, are they just so ridiculous now that you just don't really think you'll ever own one unless it just falls into like the trash can next door to you? Maybe that'll happen. Then it'll probably have a bad tube. Master Safer, you have one? That's cool. All right. Well, the good news is this cap kit will be the right thing to start with. D, here we go. Capacitor list for D. Our first electrolytic. 50 volt 22. I think a lot of people, this monitor is just something that like you never, I mean, you might, it's like maybe it'll see it in the museums or like one person you know will have it. You're like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. You actually have that monitor. Right? Because it's not, it really is something that's like on the Ferrari level for retro stuff. And it's one of those that people get to and then they're like, I'm done. I don't need to get any other better monitor. I don't need to get any other higher end CRT. I could just deal with that. You know? I think that's the way a lot of people feel. If you're lucky enough to get one, it's like, it's crazy. So just enjoy it if you actually did find one, and I hope it lasts forever. 50 volt 22. We got one of those now. 250 volt 33. Look at this weird capacitor. That's not one I would normally have stocked. Okay. They got a 16220. So that's a different value. To sneak that somewhere, we'll put lower, even though it should be above it. And right here is another 25 volt 1000. And 25 volt 1000 again. Right? No, that's a 100. 25 volt 100. Yeah. Oh man, I know, right? It'd be so nice to just be able to get one of these. It'd be so awesome even if you could go into a store nowadays and just buy one of these for like, even if you were like a super rich guy and you just wanted to go buy one brand new one for $5,000, that would be cool. It's too bad. It's just like never thought that they should keep making these things in any real capacity, right? It's just like move on. It's something that was around for over 100 years and they're just ready to throw it away and not try to solve the problems of the CRT. Instead, go to the way of the flat. Could have been room for both of us in that world. Should have been room for both of us in that world. I'm going to add, I can't remember whether I put that on the tally list or not, so I'm just going to add another 25 volt 100. That's not a problem if I have one too many. 25 volt 220s. Put that down here. Two 25 volt 220s. Let me move over here to this other side. I mean, I look around on, yeah, it's illegal and stuff now. It would just be really, I don't know. I bet there's somewhere that's still making something. But most westernized worlds were not going to be able to get away with that. So it'd have to be somewhere outside of the Western monitored world that's on any kind of agreement for making things in a green fashion. But why couldn't we come up with a green, actual right-made CRT some way? Would have been nicer to see something like that happen, to keep a lot of this stuff going, and to maybe expand into that technology a little further to see what's possible. Maybe I'm just a crazy purist. Before I lose my touch and my thought here, we need a 50 volt 47. No, this is different. 50 volt 47. And a 250 volt 2.2, I believe. And that's what I was wondering too about military hardware. I would think the military would always have some kind of a need for this, just in case you never know what happens. What I mean, trying to tell me that this couldn't be useful against aliens? Didn't we watch that silly movie with high frequency noise killed all the aliens? I mean, come on. It's just like too naive to think that there would never be some kind of a CRT somewhere for some obscure test reason. Expanding into another realm. I guess the only thing we're left with is CERN, which is a giant, almost CRT in itself. Let's get back to the list before I completely lose track of where I'm at. I just did the 250 2.2. 25, 250 2.2, 25 100. That's what I'm looking at right there. And then we go down and we've got a 2547. $50 volt 1. 16100. 50 volt 1. $50 volt 10. Man, I'm running out of room for these 50 volt 10s. $50 volt 10, there's a lot of those. All right. 50 volt 1, 16 volt 100, 50 10, 100 volt 22. That's a new one, too. It's getting harder to keep track of where I'm at, so I need to highlight them. 100 volt 47 right under that. And I'm looking right around here, right? This is the last one, 100 volt 47. This is a 25 volt 1000 right under that. And then 35 volt 220. 35 volt 220. $25 volt 1000. Got one of those next. 25 volt 1000. We got a 50 volt 10 and a 25 volt 100. 25 volt 100, 50 volt 10. And then hopefully we can get off this page soon. Volt 10, 25 100, 50 volt 10. Goodness, hard to even keep your track of your eyeball on that thing. I think we're going to be close to the... Yeah, we only got a couple more capacitors over here for the D board. And we've got 16 220, C, 16 volt 220. And we do have a stupid... Look at this, we got one weirdo here, 50 volt 3.3. I'm one of those. I wish those CERD could just play a giant video game. Component 240p in the next dimension. 53.3. 433. How about this one? Do you think that's going to be an easy one to find? I don't know about that, Cap. I don't know about that, Cap. What do you think of that, Captain? 25 volt 47, 50 volt 47. It's a wonderful day here to make a cap kit for the CRT of the gods. That's all it is, it's CRT from the gods, and they're the only ones who can afford it. 50 volt one. Alright. I think that's... Oh my goodness, how many boards is that? That's the D board. We went through the S board. And what, the N board? We're like halfway through this. Halfway. I just have to hope these other boards don't have as many parts in them. Yes, this one does not have a ton. We're looking at the G-board now. Looking at the G-board now. Gonna look at the G-board right now. I actually got to hang out with my family over the weekend. And it's my brother, who actually lives all the way out in Northern California. He came into Virginia to see my mother. And so I brought the kids and my wife. We went down to see him and his wife. And we horrified them all by setting up a karaoke machine and singing some of the worst karaoke you'll ever hear in your life. And it was a lot of fun, a lot of good practice. But sure can put a damper on your voice when you're an old man now, like I consider myself to be. So, but it was fun. You know, you don't get to see people when it's fun to see family when they're not around a lot. And I'll tell you though, my brother, he picked like goofball, picks some of the weirdest songs. Like tried to do some System of a Down song, which just came out. It was just, it like scared my kids. It was so bad. It's not easy to replicate some of that heavy metal for like karaoke. That's like the hardest genre. I'll even pick like country. You know, you gotta just stick. I like to do what I call the karaoke roulette, okay? And the rules of karaoke roulette is you basically get to pick a genre. Is there 50 volt 100 or first one of those? I guess so. you get to pick a genre. Like, if you want to say, oh, I want to do like 90s hip hop. Oh, you got to have a lot of good drinks there. Absolutely, Wobble. You know, you're like, I'll let you pick your genre, but then I want to have it on like, maybe you pick a song and then whatever comes up next, you just sing it. That's kind of the way I like to do it. I don't like to just like sit around and look in the book so much. I'll just say like, give me 80s classic rock or whatever. And then 70s, you know, disco, and then just try to sing those. And it's just such a brain scramble. It comes out a little bit crazy, but that's what I like to call the karaoke roulette. Funny enough, no, I'm not that big. You know, I don't mind it. I like all kinds of music. All right. Back to this list before I just completely lose my part. We were at 50 volt 100. We just wrote the first ones of that, which is right here. Then we have a 5010, of course. .2, 50, 110, 5047. So we got a 5047, a 5010, and a 52.2, which is one that we don't have on the list either now. Okay. $250.47. Do we have a 254.7? Sorry. Goodness, these values are getting all over the darn place now. See how we're getting into a bunch of these that are electrolytic. We got a 250, 100. Another 254.7, is that the right thing? Or is that just the one that I've already written? Because I'm not seeing one above it. Okay. We got 100 volt. 100 volt, 100. These are giving me a headache. $100 volt 4.7. Man, look at all these random. It's gonna be hard to decipher. I thought it was doing pretty good. We had a pretty good mix there. Now we're just getting them all over the place. 25, 220. Welcome to Lose Your Mind with Steve and his generic music playlist, making capacitor kits for a Sony PVM, or no, this isn't even that. This is just better than all those. W900 unobtainium. Got another one of these. Got another one of these. Oh yeah, we'll never get to see this kind of CRT again, if in our entire lives. It's just gonna be in a museum one day, oh yeah. We got to treat it right though, yeah. There we go. 10 volt 47, why is there a 10 volt 47? Some of these I'm not ordering. I'm not ordering a 10 volt 47. 16 volt 47. You're pushing it. I'm going to consolidate some of these. But this is what I'm reading down here. See, 16 volt, 10 volt, 47. And look at this one. I'm not changing this one out. Look at this stupid thing. What is this? 10 volt? Hell is that? Does anybody even know what that is? 0.0068 ferrets. Thanks, Sonny. That's a good one. 10 volt, 47. Got one of those on the list. Another one. Hey, Chris. Thanks for jumping in. Been going for a while. My goodness. We're almost 3.5 hours. With breaks, of course. Got a couple more G board C capacitors over here, right there. Another 1047. Couple of 10100s. 1047 again. There's a 10 volt 100. How many of those? 1, 2. Two of those. Does seem a little low, doesn't it? Oh, man. Any kind of flashing is never that great. Sometimes those tubes flash at the beginning when they start up. But it's not usually a good thing. Alright. I think that's it for G. Woo, man. A board. A board shouldn't have too much. This is what the A board has on my list. From before, let's see what we've got over here on the A board. 2547, 2547. $25.47. $25.47, 5010. $52.2. Here we go. We're moving through it now. Look at this. We got a 2547. And then 16220. 2547. Now, do you guys have a preferred vendor for parts? Preferred vendor for parts. Who's gonna vote for DigiKey? Who's gonna vote for Mauser? Looks like there's a 100 volt 22. I've got one of those already listed here, so let's go ahead and add another one of those. And then a 250 volt 1. I don't think I have that on here. Hey, Dell. I've been using both sometimes now, and more lately, like mostly Mauser, but still been using DigiKey too. I don't really think there's a wrong or right answer, really. Each of us have our own reasons, I think, for picking one over the other. You go to just Arcade Part and Repair for arcade cap kits, that's cool. Yeah, we just, you know, I always just do this so often, I forget that there's actual cap kits for stuff, and I just usually do this myself. 90% of the time. Unless somebody provides it. Look, there's a H board over here. H board with 2 caps on it. So let's just add those to the order. 1647 and a 1610. 1647. Oh, man. Okay. You know, DigiKey gave me some trouble one time because they kept selling me parts that they said were in stock, and then they would say they weren't in stock, and that kind of frustrated me. But that was years ago. Since then, I've had nothing but, you know, good things for them. The work I've done with them, no problem really. Okay, what are we on now? We're done with H, because there's only 2 on that board. But if we keep going, I think we're going to go to like this US board, which I don't know what that really is, but there's some electrolytic caps on here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 volt 10s. And then below that are more electrolytics. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 volt 220s. That's crazy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2547. And then another 2547. That's it. Yeah, it is nice. They do the website for parts has gotten better. How you can easily search for parts, and thankfully, you know, there was a time when even parts like this that we're looking for, these smaller scale parts, replacement parts, there's a time when it was getting difficult to find them. Of course, supply chain issues. And thankfully most of that's cleared up. But you do have to go out there and find some weird suppliers sometimes for different things. Check it out. That's all of them. Hey, for my TV. That's all the caps I need to order. But this list looks terrible, so I'm going to rewrite it on a better piece of paper. Okay. Let me get a better sheet of paper. All right, here we are. So, I mean, if you've been joining us the whole time, if you've been here earlier, if you come back, a lot's happened. We looked at 240p test suites, the new edition for the Dreamcast first off. So if you want to go back, you could do this. We have first looked at this, which is a blast. Okay, we took a look at this in depth, and then we moved on from that. We did a little Super Nintendo testing on the 804, which is the one you see over here. This or 5041Q. And then that one has been working out. So since then, I've just been kind of messing around. And we've been hanging out, making these cap kits. Yeah, I still like to do things by hand sometimes. I mean, that's the thing. If I was sitting here doing this in my office without you guys, I probably would be doing this word processor. The problem is, I'm using my stuff just up here and all my other things, resources, but only, I still use like an abacus probably. Still right on my hands. The numbering. So there are I like to put these now in the lowest value first. So we've got 10 volts. And our lowest 10 volt capacitor looks to be 47. I don't know why I made that so big. That looks awful. Let's do this all over. All right, let's start again. 10 volt, 47 UF, and we have 4 of those. Okay, cross that off the list. This is why people can find notes of people like me. They'll find their notes and they'll think we're just insane because they'll have just stacks of papers with our own interpretation of how to write a capacitor value and a number beside it. part numbers, only things that would make sense to us. Only thing that would make sense to me. It's hard to, you know, show that to everybody else. I just think you're crazy. Got 2 of those. Next 10 volter. 10 volt. 2200. I mean, just look at that. There's 7 of that cap. Crazy. I don't think there's any other 10 volts. Hopefully. Is there a bunch of 100 volts? 100 volts. Do, do, do. Here we go. We got 10 volts. 220. Moving on to 16 volts, okay? So we need to order some 16 volt 10s. I think that's their lowest value. 16 volt 10s. We got 5 of those. 16 volt 47 UF. We've got 2 of those. 16 volt 100. We need 4. And 3 of that. And after this, I'll check in, see what's going on in the chat. Only 1 of those. Okay, so it's all the 16s. 16, 10, 47, 100, 220, 1000. This is so fun. I just love getting the opportunity to do this. And it, you know, it does, people might think it's not a lot, but it makes this a lot more enjoyable for me to just be able to chill out and do some work like this sometimes with other people that like this stuff. So you guys definitely help me out too, as I'm just sitting here doing my work throughout the day. And this is a good start to a Monday. I feel like I've really accomplished more on this stream than I normally would. It's really because of you guys. The good pressure to come in here and try to figure all these things out and just get lucky sometimes too. We got lucky on some of these things, like the 5-inch. 25 volt 100 UF. And we need 6 of those. 25 volt 220. I think that's the next one. 2 of those. $1,000. So we've got 5 of those. So we need to really order. Oh yeah, I love being able to do it, and I just like. I hope I can continue to do this. You know. If I'm lucky, forever. 25 volt. At least the rest of my lifetime. 2. Then there's one lone 35 volter here. 35 volt, 220. And now we're on to the 50s. So the 50s, the lowest 50 I saw was the 50 volt 1. And I'll move these over to this side now. So we got a 50 volt 1, and then we had 50 volt 2.2. $50 volt 3.3. So this gives you a good idea if you're gonna like order. Sometimes I'll order a lot of parts, and if you order these parts, you'll have backstock like these values: 51, 2.2, 3.3, 4.7, 10 will be the next after that. And then you can always use these as lower numbers. So if you just order like 50 volts, it takes care of a lot of the caps in a monitor if you order extra of each of these. All right, let's go to the 10s. And then what's after 10? 22. 50 volts. 22. 50 volts, 47. And then 50 volt 100. Look how many 50 volts there are going to be. And if there's anything above that. I don't think so. Okay, this should be a breeze to run through. We've got 5 of these. 2.2. 2 of these. 3.3. 1 of those. 4.7, 1 of those. All right, so if you guys are still here, how many are we? Got 20 something people here still. Thank you for hanging out. If you have not checked it out already, you got to go watch the new video today that is out from 8-Bit Esquire. So we got 5010s. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 32 of those 5010s. Yeah, the new video on a trial examining Moonwalker for Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Oh, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I think you'll enjoy it too if you go watch it. A friend of the show. Good stuff. Bob from Retro RGB makes an appearance. Got 8 of that one. So let's go here. Let's see. 22. One's done. One's done. So it was a lot of fun to watch. Look at this. We're almost getting down here. We got 100 volts package for 100 volts. We've got a couple of 100 volts. I'm not sure what's the lowest. Let's see. 4.7. So weird. One of those. 122. 2 of those. Just a bunch of single caps here. I don't know if we're going to find a lot of these larger ones. We'll find some of them. Not sure about all. We're going to move on to the big ones, which is 250 and above. $250 volts. I've got a 1. 250 volts. I've got a 2.2. 2 of those. And then I've got a 4.7. Just one. So yeah, go over and check out that video if you haven't already today. I mean, not right now, but if you want to watch it later, it's really worth a good laugh. Good lot of info. Loved it. 250 volts, 33. Got 1 of those. That's a weird one, right? 250 volt 100. Now we only got 2 more big ones. 400 volt 33, which don't know that that's standard anywhere. Probably a little easier though to find than 450 330 UF. That's going to be an odd one. That's all of them. Woo! All right. Now we've transcribed this again to a little bit more of a legible piece of paper here. And let's go to all right, let's try to get over there to DigiKey. Let's Let's see if it'll let me log in. Let me see what my actual... before I do all this, because I may have 2 different accounts with them. Yeah, I don't have any. That's the wrong account. Alright guys, hang on. I'm gonna get logged into the right account. And we'll do some shopping here. DigiKey. If this will work. If this doesn't work, then we'll just have to use Mouser. Alright, I'm logged in, right? This should be right. Yes, this is the right account. Okay. So let's look at our products. Let's look for capacitors. Let's me get over here to a decent search point. Okay, so move this back down into your view. And what we can do is we can obviously input a part number into this search bar and it'll pull it up. Or we could come in here and just look at the capacitors and start picking what we want as we go, which is generally what I like to do. It makes it go a little bit faster. And the capacitors we're interested in... Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, if you guys are trying to pass links, it won't let you post them in the chat. Google or YouTube doesn't let you do that anymore. We're looking at aluminum electrolytic capacitors here, okay? And this is a brand manufacturer right here, which some people will be worried about. Move that a little bit so you can see the edge. Here's our brand. Here's our series. What I'm really concerned about more than anything is getting one that's in stock, right? So you normally want to have the in stock selected and leave that. And then let's go up here, scroll over. Packaging doesn't matter. Product status, not so much. We'll add some of these things in. So I need to go find some things that are going to be the same for every one of these capacitors. They're all going to be radial. Okay, so that can be selected through hole. Selected. I'm not going to put anything else in those parts. Applications, general purpose is generally fine. I'm not going to put in the operating temperature. I'm not going to put in the ESR. We're going to look at voltage mostly and capacitance now. Now we've kind of put a lot of we've eliminated a lot of stuff we're not going to need from the from our searches. So what we need to do is get on here and have our capacitance right here. So the first one, for example, let's go over here. We're going to do 16 volts. They don't have anything below like 25 volt stock. Look at this. That's talking about stocks not being a problem. So what this means, simple. Instead of ordering 16 volts and 10 volts parts, we're going to kick all that up and we're going to get, I guess, a minimum of 25 volts because there's nothing kind of in stock that's meeting our qualifications here. But 25 volt will be okay. Of course, look now, nothing's showing up. What's going on here? What do I have selected that I shouldn't have selected? Hang on a second. Maybe I should get rid of that. I'm not getting any results. There we go. Well, still. Nothing up there. I don't understand that. Okay. So if we have to double up on some of these, that's okay. But that means that we're going to have to change this to 25 volt products on some of these. So DigiKey, you suck! Usually this is not so bad. I don't understand. They don't have what have I selected on here that's knocked out all the different caps? Like, I can't get anything to show up that's 10 volt or 16 volt at all. I haven't picked anything. It says I got 126 to choose from. 125,000. All right. Anyway, let's just roll with it, baby. So we need to start here. We need 25 volt. So we're on 25 volt. And let's go ahead and see if we can find the lowest on here. Is a 10. Is there a 10? There is a 10. Okay. Let's apply it and see if we get something. Alright, so we're looking for an aluminum capacitor with a 20% tolerance. We need 5 of them. I like worth caps. I don't have a problem with them at all. They're very affordable. They get the job done. And that's what I used last time. It's worth electronics, so I'm not afraid to use those at all. Do have an option here between these two. Right here. Got this one and this one. Now what I'd also like to do is I don't care so much about a lot of these things, except for, if I can, I'd like to do a tolerance. And they're all kind of like telling me different tolerances. Let's see. I'd like to eliminate a tolerance, but let's go over here. So we want to try to get something that, you know, this would be like a good one right here. This one right here has 2,000 hours. That's this worth cap right here. 2,000 hours. So at 105 degrees Celsius. So we'll select this one. And we need 25 volt 10. This is canceling these. 5 of those. We need 5. Just type in 5. 50 cents. Add it to the cart. A dime a piece. Right? Okay. Then I want to go back. And we can go over here and we can remove some of these filters, right? So we're done with the 10 UF. Get rid of the capacitance. We can get rid of the voltage. Actually, no, we need to keep the voltage. We can keep that voltage rating. Because we're going to be messing around with 25 volts for a while. $25. Oh, look at this. Now it's showing me a ton of new capacitors. Why is it showing me these things? Why is it showing me 16 volt what? It's showing me the parts I need now. Of course it is, right? So I don't know what's going on there. That's so odd. Literally was showing me the parts I needed. We got this 2,000 hour cap. Polar right there. This one, same price. This is the one, 16 volt 10. My goodness, why didn't it show me that before? Let's just go ahead and add that one to the cart. And what's this one? This is the one we don't need. at 0, it'll just go away. Yes, okay, good. All right, so there we go. That's the actual right part. Thank goodness. Let's see if we can find, we go back to that voltage. We're still on 16. So let's stay on 16. Let's order the rest of 16s and maybe we can jump down to 10s in a second. Or I can just, I'm not, let's just skip some of these 10s and we'll go to 16s versions of them. 1647. Is the next one on the list. So we got 16 volts selected. Let's go to capacitance. $47, apply all. Now this one's a little bit more expensive. Let's see what we got here. We got 1,000 hours. So this one's not bad. We're gonna go with this one. This one's a Rubicon. It's a 5,000 hour. Very good part. We're going 47. Not 47, sorry. We're going, why did I say that? 1647. We're gonna order 2 and 4. So we're gonna order 6. And I may update this. Some of these are gonna give me a price break at 10. So for example, some of these I'm gonna kick up my order at the very last page, okay? So there we go. We got our first 2 caps on the order list sheet, and that is right. We've got 11 caps ordered so far. Go back a couple of paces. And just go down here. We're going to remove capacitance. And this time we're going to go for 100 microfarads on capacitance. Where is it? It keeps missing it. Capacitance right here. 100. So voltage rating doesn't matter. If you want to go up on your voltage rating, I mean it does matter, but you can go up on your voltage rating and use like a higher voltage part. You can't change the microfarads very often. Don't want to do that really unless you know what you're doing with electrical design, which I don't. Alright, so 2,000 hours, 85 degrees, blah, 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 blah. What do we have here? We have a 3,000. And those are 14 cents. This is a good one right here. Stock. Here we go. 3,000 hours. Higher. I'm looking at tolerances and ratings. Okay, so we need another 6 of those. 4 from that one. 2 from that one. So that's going to be 6 total. Add that to the cart. Okay, and then back a couple times. Now we're cooking with gas. We're going to do 220. 220 capacitance. We just deselect capacitance. Go over 220. Now we've got our options. Let's go over here and check out our life cycles. Oh, that's a high one. Goodness, look at that one. 7,000 hours. It's got to be crazy. Okay, I don't think I need that big of a capacitor. That's kind of nuts. What about this one right here? What's this one? Let's go with this Rubicon. Oh man, it's a lot more expensive. Let's see what we got back here.
just don't understand those worths. How do they have such... Oh, that's not worth. That's a Rubicon. I was like, how do they have such high ratings? It's not like normally like them. I'll take this 2,000 hour worth. I don't really need to overdo it on some of these parts. I mean, 10 of these. One more 16-volt capacitor. $1,000, 16-volt 1,000. Pretty common part there. There would be a lot of choices for this one. So let's see what we've got. These are good fits. I don't need these 10,000 hour capacitors. I'd rather have is just a nice, like this one right here. This is a Nishikon. Gosh, it's 80 cents. Are they all that expensive? These Rubicons are like rated for an insane amount of time. That's a 10,000 hour rating. I'm just concerned. Sometimes you go too high on these ratings and they don't want to act like an old capacitor does. I know it sounds goofy, but I'm just saying from what I've done, personally, I don't like to go that route. How many of these do we actually need? There's a Panasonic. What's that rating at? 2,085. I'd rather get that. Go with this one right here. This Nishikon. It's a 105 degree rating. I only need one of them. That's 77 cents though from one capacitor. This is when you start getting to the expensive ones. Promise we're getting there. The Dreamcast loot pack, the Dreamcast copy of that game can be bought at vgnysofts.com. You can go there and pick up the new Dreamcast 240p test suite. Which I should probably have playing on that little TV since it's actually the title of this video, even though that was what we did almost 4 hours ago. And I'm almost out of time. I don't know if I'm able to make it through this whole order list because we're at 2 o'clock and that's basically when I have to go. Guys, I'm going to cut it there. What I'm just going to do is end up filling out the rest of the sheet similar to what we've done. I know this has been kind of an odd, different stream. I appreciate everybody who's dropped in today. If you want to go back and watch anything, we'll have this stream. It'll be segmented by those little breaks in between. Otherwise, thanks again for dropping in and joining me today. And I'm going to cut it here at 4 hours. I'll come back and I'll see you guys soon with another stream. I've got some interviews tomorrow with Zez. We'll have fun doing that. But otherwise, thanks for dropping in today. And I'll see you next time with some more retro content.